Just be yourself. Don't be afraid. At times you may feel lonely, or most of the time you may feel lonely, but there are more people out there. Like, you never lose hope. Time is getting better. So many of us, we are trying, and together we can. Hope is the thing.
Hello, this is Hency Thacker from the CSR Journal. Welcome to another episode of India Unplugged Leaders in Action. Today we have with us Rituparna Neog, Associate Vice Chairperson, State Transgender Welfare Board, Government of Assam, founder and director of Akam Foundation, member of National Council for Transgender Person, Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Government of India, and core group member of Free Libraries Network, India and South Asia. Rituparna ji, welcome to the CSR Journal. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much for inviting me to be part of this interview. I'm really honored to be here.
Can you share a bit about your childhood and the role your family played in your earlier years?
My childhood is was beautiful childhood. If anyone asks me if I want to go back to anywhere in this world, then it's my childhood where I really want to go back. So I grew up in a small village in Jorhat district of Assam, and it was like Khubsurat. That's the only word about my childhood. I played around with my friends and all. And one thing is very important, and I always highlight this, that as a child, I was taken seriously by my parents, and also I was loved and cared. And it reflects on what I am today, the person I am today. So this is, I want to tell to every parents or everyone who is around a child that please take your child seriously, give them love and the care they deserve.
Were you always aware of your trans identity? And how did it, unfold, embracing of this and knowing yourself?
I knew about myself from very early age, if I can say. Yeah, it was just there, but probably the articulation, being a trans person or with the identity, with the word, those were definitely not there. And getting into myself more, it started when I was in college or university, if you can say, because when I came for university, I get to know more about it theoretically, or through information, like correct information and all. And then since then, and also my friends, I have to acknowledge that, like my friends in my university, they were my biggest strength. I was not judged by my friends, and I was really loved and cared by them. So those spaces in friendship and all, I could be myself. Nobody asked me also. So that beauty of my friendship with my all those friends in university, they never asked me also who I am and all.
People are really aware about different identities and accepting them and loving them the way they are, especially in cities and everything, because there's education and there's no different. It's just we are all humans, but it's not so in rural areas still. So was it any different for you in rural area because you grew up in a small town, right? So was did you face any challenges there?
So, not even a small town. I did not grow up in a small town. I grew up in a small village. So, yeah, my village was like 11 kilometers away from the district headquarters. So, it was a really interior village in one sense, that till my class 10 to 11 standard, there was no electricity also in my village. So, you can imagine. Yes, you can imagine. So, still half a kilometer from the main road, like 3 kilometers, you have to go from the highway. So 2.5 kilometers is like, Pakka road, and half kilometers is still Kacha road. So the condition of the village there.
I can
But
imagine.
then in village, honestly saying, I had no difficulty, because my family and also the people around me, so pure and innocent, actually, I will say that. And they accept everyone. I never faced any bully from any elderly person in my village. Nobody dared to say anything to me. One thing is, of course, because of their sheer love towards me. Another thing is that the protective mother I have. So because my mother exists, Nobody could dare to put a finger to me or to anyone, and it still continues. I started working also. That time also, I have been working in mostly in rural area because I am more into the rural development work. And I have been always working with women groups in different parts of Northeast India, not just in one district or in one place, but different parts of Northeast. In my those experiences also, I never felt discriminated in rural area. So I will say more things or looks if I receive or get it's in mostly in urban area or city spaces.
Really? I would
Yeah,
not have imagined that.
no, it is a fact. It is a fact. And
Okay.
even in urban area also, I work with street vendors, women street vendors in
Right.
Bahati.
Hmm.
Uh, 2 years, around 2 years during COVID time, I worked with them. I never faced any discrimination from them. Even in urban space, it's people who were in margin. Uh, from them, I received so much of love. But it's from most of the educated section, little bit sophisticated, posh. They have a lot of unhealthy
Wow.
curiosity.
I would have really not imagined that. I would
Yeah,
have thought that it would
I
have
have
been other
one
way.
example. I have one example. For example, no rural women, no women from the urban poverty pockets ever asked me any question which can put a question mark in my dignity or my body integrity. But I have met many educated people in city spaces, big city spaces, not even small city spaces, who will just come and ask directly me private questions, which you do not ask about, to someone, an unhealthy curiosity. So this is, you can see, yeah.
So, like you said, that not a single elderly person has ever discriminated against you or bullied you. Did you face any bullying from, younger people in school or, from your peers while you were there?
In school, yeah, of course, it happened. Yes, yes, because my peers and they were also not aware, no, and
Right.
that's why I don't have any complaint because they didn't know about it, no, and maybe school senior they also didn't know about it. They were
So
also growing up.
how did you deal with the with such situations?
I had library and books, so I deal with those situations. You know, but investing myself in library and reading a lot of books. So I'm grateful actually in that way that I spent so much of time in library, and library gave me the most safest space in the world, where books were my friends, the characters were my friends, and stories were my wonderland. And then I was not judged. I had so many friends. So in that way, I actually built it in that way. So reading books. And this is where my work is also connected. I started
Yes, I was
library.
actually going to get to that. Like you work for the Free Libraries Network. So like I can relate to that, like being a library being a safe space for so many people, books, best friends, like people who are not able to socialize. Was that your inspiration behind starting this initiative?
Definitely, yes. As I said also that because it was the library gave me solace and then library gave me the safe space. I always wanted to start a library. But I didn't knew that how and where and when, but I always wanted to start. Then I started my own library in my own village called Project Kitape Kothakoi Community Library. It has around 2,000 books now. It serves nearly to 100 children from 5 villages and one tea state, that I started in 2021. Then the second library I started in 2023, called Chandrababa Saikyani Feminist Library and Resource Center. And during those time, I met many more wonderful people from all over India who has been running free library. And together, all of us are building the free library movement, and we all are part of the network called Free Libraries Network India, through which we are advocating for a free public library system in India because it's a matter of right to read, and everyone deserve or everyone needs the free access to books and reading because when you read, you think, and
Yeah.
when you think, you can grow.
So could you also share a little bit about your foundation, Akam Foundation? What was the inspiration behind it, and how did you go about starting that organization?
So, Akam Foundation, I started because uh, being a trans person or a queer person, to be precise, I will say that, and a development professional, I saw that structured way doing intervention in the social justice space can take us to near to the rights for everyone. And because I studied in Tata Institute of Social Sciences, I had one way to see, or I had a vision to see how I want to go ahead in my life when it comes to development work. So I completed my master's in 2017, and I registered my organization in 2022. So I started the library first, and the mobilization work for the queer community also began concentrating in rural area or semi-urban area or small towns of some. Together, I tried to bring it together both the work and build Akam Foundation and registered in 2022. One of the vision or the biggest reason why I wanted, because being a trans person, what I faced or what I observed or I experienced, I do not want it to happen to the younger people in my community. So, of course, we cannot solve everything, but we can take up one area, one work, and we can contribute to the larger social justice work. And this is why Akam Foundation came into exist, because this is what I always wanted, that our people can do anything and everything. Just with a given opportunity. Just you need an opportunity and we can do.
How do you engage with local communities and leaders to promote, gender justice and inclusivity?
Thank you for the question. It's very important, an integral part of my work, because I believe in movement building practice. Allyship building is very important. So in my work, very strategically, I get engaged with allies. Other people say maybe the stakeholders, but for me, it's allies. And for me, those allies are college principals, college professors, university professors, media people, people who work into culture, literature, and then young people in general. Because I have lots of hope on young people. Because I am also a young person, and then other young people, I can see that they are so sensitive and wants to do something. And this is where I always try to engage with the young people and of course local people in general. When I talk about local people, it's most of the women or women groups. They are sensitive towards us. They are accepting towards us. And one step at a time, we get involved in conversation. We talk, we try to coexist because every one of us has to coexist in our society, right?
Yeah.
So through that, we are trying to involve the local community in Assam. And I can say in my experience, it has been a great experience because it's so wonderful how all the ally are contributing to our movement and they are coming and standing up with all of us. And it's very important.
What are some of the specific challenges that trans persons face when they so in so many cities they are quite marginalized, but when they try to join the full workforce and formal economy, they are there are several challenges infrastructure wise sometimes, and sometimes others that they face, and they are unable to deal with them because there are no policies in place for them. So what are some of those policies that you would recommend that should be made, for including all these individuals in formal workforce?
Thank you. Few of the things I really recognize or identify or I see, which is a need of the hour, is one thing is to do work in education spaces, because if the education spaces are not inclusive and not safe, then our people get drop out mostly in school or maybe later on in college. So if you were away from formal education, then also you are not really ready for formal employment, be it technical or non-technical, anything it can be. But then the basic, for example, if you cannot even complete your class 12, later on you cannot decide that if you can go for technical aspect or non-technical aspect also. So these are very crucial. So one of the biggest challenge is education setup, very binary. So we have to really work on education spaces, making more inclusive and gender diverse. Then another one is the livelihood, as you also said. Working for sustainable livelihood for our community is very important, very crucial, because livelihood is very much connected to a life of dignity also. Because if you are independent financially, if you have a sense of security on livelihood, then definitely it contribute to the dignified life. I'm saying contribute. It's not only to do, but then contribute. The third thing is very crucial for trans community is the challenge with the healthcare system, because not a lot of studies are available. Research are also available on trans body uh, and medical intervention, which most of the trans people are very crucial, very important, because so many of us or so many of our community people needs to go through a medical procedures. I'm saying not everyone, because it's a choice people make depending on your financial condition and also your internal process and all, and how you think and how you see yourself. So, but then people who need, it's not available, it's not accessible, or it's not even affordable also. So we need policy, in those where we can build safe space in schools, college, university, scholarship, reservations, horizontal reservations for trans people when it comes to education and when it comes to jobs, government jobs. And then, of course, developing trans community as a skilled labor also, so that they can get into job market and all these things. Then definitely healthcare is another important area which we really need to look into.
Right. So, what advice would you give to young queer individuals who are struggling with their identities?
Just be yourself. Don't be afraid. At times you may feel lonely, or most of the time you may feel lonely, but there are more people out there like you. Never lose hope. Time is getting better. So many of us we are trying, and together we can. So I will just say hope is the thing, and we live with hope, and every one of us, right?
Yeah.
Not just to an identity or one person, every one of us, if hope is there, then life is there. So life is beautiful, so don't give up.
Thank you so much. They were really wise words. And it was a pleasure talking to you today. Thank you, Rituparna ji.
Thank you so much. Thank you.